This is Greg from Frcfoamies. I'm at the field this afternoon with our latest project. This is the Frcfoamies F22 Raptor. This is a plane that some of you may recognize. We've been working on this for a couple years now. We initially started using this plane with our thrust vectoring motor mount that we no longer make. But the main feature of this plane is the extremely scale looks. Jay did a lot of work in SketchUp to make this not only great looking, but also very easy to build. There's not that many parts, and it's still using score and fold build techniques, which means that you can get this thing done in about 5 or 6 hours. We know a lot of guys don't like rear mount props on their planes. It doesn't give you as much control. You need a little bit more scale, flying speeds, and things like that. So what we've done here is we've incorporated thrust vectoring vanes on the elevons right here in front of the prop. And believe it or not, the airflow coming to the prop actually gives you a lot of control, just like thrust vectoring. It's about 60% of what you get on a mid-mount prop, but that's great, that's plenty. And what you'll find is that the slow flying control and flying in windy conditions is really enhanced by having those thrust vectoring vanes in front of the prop. The F22's got about a 31-inch wingspan. Great flying weight is around 23 to 25 ounces. 2200 3S battery feels great in here, although you can go as low as 1600 as long as you're maintaining your CG. The nice thing is the plane doesn't care. It's got a ton of lift, especially with that body work on the top of it. It seems to provide so much lift that the plane really handles the weight well. I'm using elevons on this plane, mixed in with the ailerons on a 4x4 setup. I've got rudders on here. I've got 2-position flaps. We can do some slow flying on there. And those flaps work in conjunction with the fixed leading edge flaps on the front of the wing there. Those things we've been using a lot lately because they really add a lot of lift without the added drag and weight of a KF2 airfoil. We've got the battery and ESC up here under the canopy. And what we've also incorporated into this plane on the final version, it's got the lowered battery tray, which keeps the battery mass on center line with the thrust line of the motor. So what that gives you is an extremely balanced plane. The going vertical, high alpha, everything that you normally would do with the park jet feels better when you've got that battery mass centered on the thrust line. Really nice feature. We initially did that on the MiG 2.88, and the results are crazy. Got some pretty good speed out of the F22. Really good roll rate using the ailerons with the elevons. During testing, though, I've also flown this with elevons only, and it's a really good control. So. All right, let's do some slow flying. I'm gonna do some slow flying with no flaps, just so you can see the amount of lift this has. That's all glide right there. You can see the prop is stopped. Great response from the rudders here. You can see the partial flaps on the wing maybe. All right, let's take it around and do full flaps. Full flaps are on now. That'll give me a little bit less, since I'm using flaperons, it'll give me a little bit less response on the roll rate. Wow, look at it just hang there with the full flaps. Great slow flying ability. In the slow aerobatics, you can see how the thrust vectoring is really taking an effect there. Little rudder input there. So the thing flies really, it flies a lot like a mid-mount prop, park jet with high expos. That's how I can describe it. Very stable. We'll bring it down for a floating landing here. Beautiful. So much control.